the problem?
I think it's just saying hi.
Oh.
I forgot to see you yet. I barely saw you all day.
Okay.
Just say hi, give you a kiss.
Just the attorney I was at the range with on Saturday.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Killed 2 birds with one
Freaking
stone.
nailed that one. Brian posted, already got your name.
Spelled differently, but doesn't matter. Do you want to taste mine?
What is it?
Raspberry water.
No.
Too girly for you? Should I click it?
No, who is that person?
Exactly. Skin. Oh, look at that. Killed another bird. What's with all the Brian?
Dude, what's up with all the Bryans?
Brian is like the most popular name ever. Brian and Ryan. Look at that.
What's up, Kathy?
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
Ryan G here, and Tiffany.
And no, it's a tipster.
The tipster.
I prefer.
AKA the pickle.
No, let's not do the pickle.
Yeah.
Pickle's not cool.
What's up, Tom Cigars? Fish and Golf.
I think that's a new person.
It is
Hello.
a new person.
All right.
Rush Rick, Drew.
Got to see a bunch of the regulars on here. Gerard and Kathy.
You're not very excited today. You're very...
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
Okay, well, you got to fake it.
I got to fake it like I do every night.
Yeah, you're good at faking it, Tiff. I got to take the sweatshirt off. Entertain them.
Oh, yeah. It's super hot. Why are you wearing that?
Because I was cold.
You wear that in here, like, on a regular basis?
Yeah, because it's freaking freezing in here.
I don't know about that. It's funny when I come in here and you have your hoodie on and then you have, like, a blanket wrapped around you.
Yeah. Dude, when it's, like, really cold outside, it is, like, exponentially colder in my office. Because my office is in a single-car garage.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, it's just cold, man. It's so bad in here.
I got the nice office.
Yeah.
No wine for me because I'm trying to watch the calorie intake. So I've switched to some water. So I'm not going to be as fun. I'm going to be a little lame. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm more fun when I'm a little... Are you starting already?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty freaking boring tonight.
No, we're waiting for people to get on. I want to tell the story about the boys. So, like, you were at the range, so you didn't get, like, the full effect. But I went to go pick up the boys, right, after school. They had early release, so I'm, like, on the golf cart waiting for them to get home. And then they, you know, run off the bus like they always do, and they're like, hey, Mom. And then Lincoln's like, Mom, I'm sorry, but I said the F word at school. And I was like, you did what? You know, I'm like, what the heck? Like, why would you say that word? And he's like, well, I didn't say, like, the real word, but I said, like, get the F out of my way. And I'm like, why would you speak like that, Lincoln? Like, what's going on? And he's like, well, we had a lockdown happen, right? So this wasn't a planned drill. Normally, if they're going to have a lockdown drill, which we all know why they do the lockdown drill, but they don't want to scare the kids, so they don't tell them, but my boys know, right? So they had a lockdown happen, and, you know, they said the robot voice, I guess that tells them to get somewhere safe or whatever, went off, so they did what they're supposed to do. Jackson was having recess. He went into his classroom, and then they all huddled down in the corner on the floor, you know, locked the doors, put up the black paper over the doors and stuff. And then Lincoln was outside walking by the cafeteria. So they ran into the cafeteria, right? And to everybody, like the teachers, everybody, this was something really bad was happening. So everybody's scared and kind of freaking out. And Lincoln starts yelling to everybody.
So, like, the teachers were freaking out? Is that what Lincoln nobody ever told me any of this.
Yes, because you kind of weren't listening. Like, you were a little busy or flustered. You're coming home. And because I heard the whole story first, when they told the second story, it was just kind of more nonchalant.
Yeah.
But Lincoln's like, as soon as this happened, we went in the cafeteria. We all got down, and I'm yelling, somebody get me something sharp! Somebody get me something sharp! And, like, he's freaking out, and he's looking for something sharp, right? And somebody gives him, like, a fork, and it's a freaking plastic fork. He's like, not this. So Javier gives him his glasses, and Lincoln was about to break his glasses.
I'll be so proud of him.
So that he has the arm of the glasses, because he said, I ain't going to sit there being defenseless. I'm going to... And then he said a few words, but he's like, this kid started freaking out.
He's 11 years old, by the way.
This other kid beside him started freaking out and panicking. My sister's over there. My sister's over there. And that's when Lincoln said, get the F out of my way. Because he was ready. He was ready to fight, okay? He was ready to fight and go after, you know, whoever it was, this bad guy that came in. So Paisley's like, I can't believe you said that, Lincoln. And I said...
Stuff happens, man.
No, I just said, like... I'm kind of proud.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud,
I said, like, of course I love you and I don't want you to get hurt, but I also understand that sheepdog, that man inside of you that has that, I don't want to extinguish that, right? And I want him to be a part of who he is. That's him naturally, right? We've said that right from at a very young age. So then I went and talked to Jax, and I said, like, okay, Jax, what were you doing? You know, I said... He's like, yeah, they make us all huddle down. And he's like, I said, you know, was everybody scared? And he's like, yeah, they were scared. And he said, I was yelling, get me a pencil, get me a pencil.
No way.
Yeah, and he said, he goes, my teacher heard me. He says, she doesn't care. She's a badass too. And I was like.
So did they give him a pencil though?
No, because I guess like it kind of like happened, pretty fast, but I guess it was kind of a long time while this happened, and then they figured out that it was like somebody accidentally set this,
alarm
off. But I have to say, I was super proud of the boys to just like, they were scared, and I said to Jax, I said, like, what did you think in your head was happening? And he said, what you said. And I said, okay, because I said, I know the school doesn't tell you, use those words, right?
Yeah.
Active shooter. He said, but I know what they're talking about. So I said, I know you were scared. I said, it hurts me. Like, I was so mortified thinking about him being alone in that classroom, and this stuff happening. Like, how terrifying for a little kid, right? Yeah. And all those kids there. But then I was also so proud at how he said, like, get me a pencil. He said, I'm gonna stab the guy in the eye or something like that. Like, so I just.
Okay, so the conversation I need to have with these kids is that if you ask the teacher, hey, give me a knife when at school, they're probably not gonna hand you a knife.
Yeah.
But it's as you're running to your hiding space or whatever, as you're running by the teacher's desk and you see the scissors there, you grab the scissors, you palm them, and now you're hiding them, right? But it's not asking for the stuff because nobody's going to give it to you.
Right.
You have to look around and see what are the potential weapons that I have in my environment, and then you just got to grab the weapon.
Yeah, I was very proud of them for thinking of the glasses, the armband.
That's actually very smart. Mary says, and now the tactical pencil has been born.
Yeah.
Mary.
Right?
John Wick invented the tactical pencil.
Lincoln was asking about that. He's like, so Mom, like, what can I do if this happens again? Like, is there some type of necklace? He said, and I said, well, you could use a pencil. He said, Dad said a pencil will break. He said, I want that pen that Dad has. And I'm like, well, that's an $80 pen. I don't give that to you. But I was thinking, this is something that we have to think of. But outside of being very proud of them, we've seen this happen. The mall, there was a shooting, that young kid, stood up. That other school where there was that football player that ran at the active shooter and, was shot and killed. So, this is not just obviously just our boys. It's born and bred into them. And then it's just like, what do you call, like, nurtured kind of, they hear and see things, and then it kind of brings it up in them. But I mean, men have been like this from men and women have been like this for all time when they would sneak into war at 13 years old.
No, dude,
right?
I know I've told this story on this live stream before, but this guy came to MacDill Air Force Base, and he was older, so he was already like, 75, 80, 90, I don't really know. But this guy, during World War II, he was 15 years old or 14 years old. He lied to the British government, said that he was 18 just so that he could be in the D-Day invasion. And this guy was actually in the D-Day invasion at the age of 15.
That's so crazy.
Like 15-year-olds now, you ask them, not my kids, but lots of 15-year-olds, you ask them to take out the garbage, and it's like, oh my gosh, Dad, you're asking way too much.
Yeah.
Like, but this kid went to war.
Yeah.
And survived that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is really wild. So, anyway, super scary. And,
Casey, situational awareness, there's always a weapon around.
Yeah.
If you're creative, if you're paying attention, if you're looking at your environment, trying to figure out what can I use kind of thing, right?
Well, and so that's the talk that I had with them. And I was like, I want you guys to think now. I want you to look around when you're in your classroom. You know exactly what's going to happen now. You know where you got to go. You know where you're going to do. Look around. See if there's anything that you can quickly grab or see, in your classroom that's there that you wouldn't really think of. And I wanted to tell them, but then, I don't know, I got sidetracked making them chili and buns. But I wanted to say, like, do you remember when Mom and Dad went to go take a flight? I don't know where we were flying, if it was Vegas or where, but I'm cheap, so Ryan's going into this newsstand, and I'm like, dude, what are you going? And he picks up this big, huge Eiffel Tower statue. And I'm like, why are you buying that? And he's like, shh, 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 shh. So I'm like, okay. So he buys it, and he walks out, and he's like, because I'm taking it on the plane in case I need it. And it was, because could be used as a weapon. So, need to be smart and think like that. So I was telling that to the boys, how they need to look around their surroundings now and see if there's anything around them that they can use. So it was quite interesting anyway. because I kind of spoke to them a little bit more and just tried to figure out like where their mind was at, you know, how they felt, things like that. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank God
pretty
everything
crazy.
was okay.
All John Wick needed was a pencil. But that
Yep.
guy's on a different freaking level than us, man.
That guy is on a different level.
Okay, this is a pretty wild, interesting road rage incident that occurred recently. And the question we want to ask ourselves in this situation is, what would you do? What is legal to be done? I think I'm losing my voice, man.
You've been talking too much.
I've been talking a lot lately. What's legal? What are you allowed to do? And what would you do in this situation?
Road rage incident caught on camera in Northwest Harris County, and now police need your help in finding this suspect. Take a look at this. It happened back on January 14th on Grant Road in the Willowbrook area. According to HPD, that suspect here was driving a gray Honda Accord with a Mississippi license plate. He's described as a white male, possibly in his late 20s. If you have any information on this case, please.
That was a pretty solid hit.
This guy's a prick, man. I hope he gets caught.
Okay, I mean, but that's not the question here.
I know. I'm
So
just saying. I'm just calling it out. He's a prick.
So, Tiffany, we have enough problems with getting banned on YouTube. Can we not
Is that
cuss
a
and
bad
say,
word?
It's not a word we've ever said on this channel, so let's try to tone it down a little bit. I know you're not drinking tonight, but maybe the ghetto Tiffany wants to come out.
That is not that bad of a word. You swear all the time.
I do swear all the time, but we already have major problems with YouTube banning us, so let's tone it down a little bit.
Okay, fine.
Okay?
He's a dink.
If you were in the passenger seat of this car and and your spouse or whatever just got knocked unconscious, you have a gun, what can you legally do in that situation? Or what would you do?
Well, if I'm a woman and a man hits me like that.
You are the passenger in the car.
Okay.
Your husband,
gotcha.
me, just got out of the car and got cold cocked by that guy. What would you do?
I don't know if I'd do anything.
Okay, O-Town Racer, don't get out of the car. In
Yeah.
fact, don't even stop.
Yeah.
Kind of hard when you kind of got to stop because the guy's slammed on the brakes right in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think I'd get out of the car. I don't think I would wait and see. Like, it seemed like he kind of stopped and pretty much turned around right away. Now, if he would, like, come for more, like, get down on you or something like that, that might change things. I don't know.
Okay. What do you guys think on the comments here? So, O-Town Racer, lay on the horn. RV Dog, just because he sucks at fighting, you can't shoot.
Exactly. That's what Ryan says all the time.
Yep.
Just because you suck at fighting. Yeah, the other guy could have, hit him back or whatever, and you'd be totally allowed to do that. But in that situation, could you use pepper spray?
Here's the bottom line. Like, the guy that slammed on his brakes in the front car, he jumped out of his vehicle, but then the other dude should have just stayed in his car.
Yeah, and locked the door.
Let the guy go ballistic. Let him do dumb stuff and be crazy. And just stay in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously had a dash cam running, so have the dash cam running. And if this bad guy attempts to enter the occupied vehicle, then obviously that changes the game, right? But if the guy's just standing there and he's throwing a fit and he's like threatening to shoot you,
just let him.
Then yeah, there's not really much you can. I mean, if he's threatening to fight you and you're safe in your car, then there's not really much you can do.
Yeah, and I think by staying in your car and, having the door locked and the window up, eventually it's like, what is he going to do? He's just going to keep yelling at you through your window. Like, I don't know. That's going to, I'm hoping, diffuse the situation, right?
Yeah. So Michelle says, I would use pepper spray. It's non-lethal. Yeah, it is non-lethal, but you also are only allowed to use pepper spray in a justified self-defense situation, which means the attacker has to be using unlawful force against you for you to be able to use that force against them.
Isn't that what a smash in the face is?
Yeah, but you're already knocked unconscious.
Is
you
he
can't
unconscious?
use the dude dropped to the ground like a sack of potatoes. That dude is out. Okay? Yeah. So using pepper spray at that moment is already over.
Yeah, yeah.
You already got punched in the face.
So could I, as the passenger, though, if I wanted, I wouldn't. Because this is why. Because I've used pepper spray before, and you always get that shit in your eyes. And you don't want that in your eyes because it burns for hours. But if I was the passenger, legally, I'm guessing legally, I would be able to pepper spray him so that he didn't, start kicking you or something, right?
Yep.
While you're down. But I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I'd kind of be like, you need to fight for yourself. I'm staying in here.
Honestly, if you get out of the car like that, you are stupid.
Yeah, because you're going to probably escalate it even more.
Yeah, it's never going to go well.
At risk.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
Stay in the car. Don't do dumb stuff. It's just absolutely not worth it.
But it's crazy to think that somebody like would just do that, right?
No, because I see this stuff every single day. And like pretty much road rage in my classes is one of the number one reasons that people are coming in and they've been shot or shot at. Do you remember the story? I don't know if I've really talked about it very much, but it was a younger black dude. He was probably early 20s, but they were in Lakeland and they went to a house party and they were leaving the house party. I don't know what time of night it was. Leaving the house party and a car pulled up to them at a red light and just opened fire into their car. So then the car drove away and they called the police and stuff. Wow. So as this young guy was standing there talking to the police, the cop was like, hold on a second.
Oh, he's bleeding.
So he had long dreadlocks. There was a freaking bullet stuck in the dreadlock. And I said, dude, do you understand, like, you almost died?
Yeah, no.
Like, that bullet must have hit the car, hit a piece of metal, and slowed down so much that when it actually hit your hair was enough to stop that projectile. Yeah. And I said, if you don't believe in Jesus, you should probably start. Right? Like that.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's very crazy.
I don't know if my voice is going to make it.
No?
It might not. So you're going to be in charge a lot.
Good. Everybody would prefer to hear me speak anyway.
Talk.
Oh, I'm supposed to be talking? Okay. So, hey, if you guys want to send Ryan a voice message, you can send us an email, but it is nicer to just hear the message. So if you go to our website and go to Ryan and Tiffany Live, Ryan has the wrong link there, then you can send us a voicemail. You just press that button, it automatically records, and then you can ask Ryan a question. So if you have a question for next week, submit it that way. It's the best.
Okay.
Okay, I can do this one. So Mary's a friend of ours, and she has a little girl who goes to kindergarten, and this question is like crazy for tonight when I tell the story about the boys' lockdown. But she wants to know, what's a good bulletproof backpack, or what suggestions do you have? Because her daughter's in kindergarten, and it's very scary to send her to school, just kind of feeling like you're sending off this little child, whom we love so much, and they're helpless. So she wanted to know about that and what you thought. So
yeah, a bulletproof backpack. I think it's, number one, sad that this is even like a product that exists.
Yeah.
Number two, who was I just talking to that has one? Oh, actually, Joe Yeager.
Okay.
So he bought his his two girls. Metal plates to put in their backpack to like go to college, right? Yeah. So I think it's sad. I think having the like AR-500 kind of steel plates in your back.
They're heavy. They're
freaking heavy. You're not going to walk around with this all the time, especially a 5-year-old. You're not going to walk around with steel plates.
And she's like Jax too, where she's like little for her age.
Yeah.
So she's extra little. And yeah, if you look at most of the shootings, it's been with a rifle. So
it's not true. So make sure you're giving accurate information here.
I'm talking about the school.
No, most active shootings are done with a handgun. Okay, school or not, that doesn't matter. The ones that the news publicizes because it matches their agenda are the ones where the shooter used an AR-15. They don't talk about the other ones as much, but statistically, I mean, it's 80% or 60% of. Again, I don't know the actual number, but I did a whole video on this, and you guys can also go look at the FBI active shooter report, and it gives you all this data. But most of them are done with a handgun. Pistol caliber, handgun.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Let me rephrase it. I'm just thinking of the last two, okay? The last two had a rifle, okay?
Okay.
How does the soft plates, pistol caliber, how do those hold up at all?
Nothing. It does nothing.
It does nothing.
It's a hot
for
knife
a
through
rifle?
butter. Yeah.
Okay. So you would have to, really to be on the safe side, you would want a rifle plate, and you would not want, if you're going to go to that extent.
Yeah, but what people don't understand about a rifle plate is that rifle plates, like if we're talking about AR-500, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you're up close, so if the shooter is 5 feet away and they shoot you with that dead center right in the middle of that plate, you're probably still going to die. There's so much dimpling, so when you shoot steel that close, it like dimples really hard. That's going into your skin, right? And that's going to break some stuff. That's going to be, I would just guess, you're probably going to have a very severe injury and probably die.
Okay.
And if it's close enough, and if they're using like armor-piercing ammo, it's probably just going to go right through it, I would think. Like, I know with my steel targets that I have out at the range, if I'm too close and I shoot them, and the times I've actually made a mistake and actually shoot AP rounds, like, it's a good freaking hole in that thing.
Okay. And that steel is thick.
Yeah, I bought 5/8 inch steel. Like, that's the thickest you can buy.
So when we had the steel plates at the store, like those.
We never had steel plates. We had real ceramic plates.
Oh, ceramic.
So ceramic plates, like the whole steel AR-500 movement, that's people that either A, can't afford to buy ceramic plates.
Gotcha.
B, don't know where to buy ceramic plates because they're very expensive.
They were like $2,000.
Some of the ones we had were very expensive. Yeah. But also, if you drop ceramic plates or something like that, like they're broken, they're cracked, and then they're pointless, right?
Gotcha. So again, not good for a little kid.
A little kid. Yeah, and they're freaking thick, big, heavy. Yeah, it's just tough, man.
So I'm going to go with this, okay? This is what I'm going to say. Cover your kids with prayer. Cover your kids with prayer. And, because it doesn't seem like there's really a viable option that way, right?
Yeah.
I did see a couple of backpacks that they made, but they were soft. They were just soft armor. And I still don't know if that, maybe if you really felt like that would, put your heart at ease and stuff like that, then go ahead and get the soft armor. I think they were like $200 or $229 or something like that.
And then it's also like, what level soft armor is it? Is it level 1? Is it level 2? Level 3?
There's a lot to it.
There's just a lot to it. And then, I remember reading over some of the plates we used to sell and the plates I had in the military. Like, when you actually read the back of the plate, it'll say, this will stop, 7, the number, 7.62 by 39 rounds, which is the AK-47 round, if the shooter is 50 or 100 yards or more. But if they're closer than 100 yards, basically what they're saying is, this is not going to work.
And no one's going to be 100 yards.
I remember reading it, and I was like, well, this is freaking pointless. Like, you're dead. This is not going to help you.
Right. Yeah, because I guess, in a military situation where they're going to be, 100, 200 yards out or something, that's fine. But when you're in close quarters like that, it's just not going to make sense.
Yeah, and lots of people are saying, books are a good option. So one of the things I did, this is a very old YouTube video, but I was at Home Depot and I was like, what can I do here? What can I shoot that would make a cool video? And I found a bunch of different posts, like 2x4, 4x4, 6x6, 8x8 posts.
Cinder blocks.
So I bought a bunch of this stuff and I put them all on the ground and stuff. And I started shooting them with different calibers to see which calibers would actually go through. And I was absolutely blown away that the 22 caliber 9mm was going through stuff that I didn't think, again, a 6x6 post. 9mm was just zipping right through it.
Really?
Tiffany, I was shocked. Now, the wood was a little bit wet, so maybe it was the wetness that allowed it to go through. I don't know.
6x6?
Tiffany, I'm telling you.
Or 4x4.
The video is up. No.
6x6 is a big one, yeah.
Tiffany, I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You guys can go find the video on the Tampa Carry YouTube channel, but I was shocked by it. Shocked. Because I was like, oh, there's no way a 22 is going to go through this. Boop, 22 right through it.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. Now, when it would hit, and then it would come out way down here.
Right, okay.
But,
so it changed the direction, but...
Yeah, but it still came through it.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane.
So how many books do you need to stop a 5.56? A freaking lot?
A lot.
A freaking lot, bro.
Yeah.
A book is not slowing down a 5.56 anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Okay, this is a very sad story that happened, and it's just a good reminder of why all parents need to make sure their firearms are secured at all times, because you are responsible ultimately for what happens with your gun and your children.
Should never have happened. This should not have happened. We should not be standing here having this conversation.
But the unthinkable did happen here while a 3-year-old was home with his brother and sister. The sister, 16, was watching the younger boys, an 8-year-old and the toddler, while their parents shopped.
The 3-year-old wandered into the bedroom and got into the end table. And when he got into the end table, he picked the gun out and he turned it toward himself and he shot himself point blank range.
This is the gun that was found in the nightstand, a 9mm loaded, no trigger lock, and though there was a safe in the bedroom, deputies say the father told them it didn't work. Another gun was found on top of a refrigerator. The father is a state corrections officer, but in Florida, corrections officers don't carry service weapons. The guns in the house were the father's personal weapons.
There is a message here to all parents that own guns, and that message is if you have little ones, even if you have teenagers, you got to lock them up, man. You got to.
So the question here is the parent liable, responsible for the fact that their 3-year-old killed themselves?
Mm-hmm.
You say yes, 100%? Why? Why do you say that?
Because if you told me that you had your gun locked in a safe and the 3-year-old picked the lock, or the 3-year-old broke into the combination, then I would say, okay, you're not responsible. You had it locked away in a safe.
Okay.
To me, having a firearm secured away from a child is not inside of a drawer.
Yeah, no, it's freaking
That
foolish,
is not
man.
even close to being secured. So you have a responsibility as a parent, right, and as a gun owner, to make sure that those firearms are secured away from unauthorized users and children. So I do think that if something like this happens, where a child is hurt or injured because you neglected to put away your firearm, or you neglected to secure, listen, you can get for $20, you can get a lockbox, steel lockbox key from Amazon.
Yeah.
There is, you can get it from Wally World. There is absolutely no reason. Never mind, even go cheaper than that. Put a trigger lock on that, right? Get it for like $250. Actually, you can get it free from if you go online, you can actually go like free trigger lock. And
National Shooting Sports Foundation provides them.
There's places where you can pick it up. So you can get a free trigger lock. Plus, we all know that they are legally, they have to add them when you buy them in the box from the store. Everybody just throws those things out, but there's a trigger lock inside every gun that you buy.
Yeah. So
there's no reason at all for this to happen, ever. There is never a reason for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I think 100% the parents need to be charged, and there needs to be repercussions. And then maybe the next, idiot will think twice.
Okay, so Renee asked earlier, she said, Ryan, why is your voice like kind of going out? When Renee and I were at the range today, she said your voice was fine then. The reason it's going out, Renee, is because we have been, I just posted a link inside of here. I have been like posting a ton of new podcasts and trying to grow the Warrior Cloud YouTube channel. So there's a link. If you guys are a firearms instructor, or you know a firearms instructor looking to launch and grow their business, go check that out. So one of the episodes that I just posted today is about an incident that happened today at the gun range. So I was at the range, and I was at the range with one of my students, Jim, who's an amazing guy, amazing shooter. We shoot together all the time. And as I'm like talking to Jim, one of my other former students who, I don't know, he took my beginner's guide to firearms class 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know. I recognize him, but I don't remember dates because I have so many students. Right. So I see him over there, and he's got a green laser on his gun, and I see the laser like moving around his neck and his face, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? Wow. And then I see the laser dot right on his chest. So I like peek around to get a better view, and this guy has the gun pointed right at his chest. Oh my gosh. So I walk over there, and I was like, hey, sir. I like grabbed the gun, and I said, and he was trying to adjust the like windage and elevation of the laser. I said, sir, you got to keep the gun pointed at the target. And here's what he said to me. He said, oh, yeah, thanks, Ryan. I knew that from your class. Okay, is everybody paying attention? Because this is something that applies not just to learning how to shoot, but this applies to every area of your life. One of our mentors, his name is Myron Golden, who is quite possibly one of the smartest people on the planet. Would you agree?
Yeah.
One of the smartest people in the world. Myron says all the time, the purpose of learning is not knowing. The purpose of learning is mastery. And, you know, as this incident happened, I started to really think to myself, you know, this idea that lots of people know something, but they can't actually demonstrate the thing in real life.
On a regular, consistent basis.
On a subconscious basis. It reminded me when we did the advanced pistol course, it was an 8-hour-long outdoor shooting class. This dude drove from like Daytona to come to the class. He showed up, and within the first 15 minutes, I said to him, hey, listen, dude, like, you're having lots of firearm safety issues here, right? Like, this is not a beginner's class. This is an advanced class. And I said, like, do you know the gun safety rules? And he's like, yeah, Ryan, I know all 7 of the firearm safety rules. And I said, what are they? And he started, like, listening to me, right? And he knew them all because he had memorized it. He knew, but he did not achieve mastery. So I was like, all right, listen, dude, I'm going to give you one more chance. But, like, this is a big freaking deal. If you can't keep your finger off the trigger, keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, then you got to leave.
Yeah, because it's too dangerous.
So we did another string of fire, and then the guy violated the gun safety rules again. And I said, listen, sir, you got to go. I cannot allow you, for the safety of the other people that are here, I cannot allow you to be here because you are going to kill me. You're going to kill one of my other students. You're going to kill yourself. Like, you got to go. And I said, I'm not going to refund your money. But what I will do is I'll allow you to spend this money and take some private shooting classes with me so that we can, like, work on your gun safety, and then you can come take this advanced class again in the future, okay? See, he knew the firearm safety rules, but he was not able to demonstrate the firearm safety rules on a subconscious level.
Right.
And this is the problem that I have with many gun owners, okay? Many gun owners, this student, the guy pointing the gun at his face, he took one, Tiffany, I'm telling you, it drives me nuts that I have to be this nervous and this scared in the gun range because people are not paying attention. They're not listening to the directions.
I'm so surprised that people don't see how dangerous it can be. Because, like, you think that would kind of be a no-brainer that, you know, if you get shot, it's going to kill you, or if you shoot somebody else, it's going to kill you. There's no eraser on the end of that barrel, but yet they're so neglectful.
But, you know, Tom says, you know, I'm not a master of the pistol, but wow, amateurs can be scary. I drove down to Sarasota yesterday to hang out with Joe Yeager of Executive Gun, which if you guys are in the Orlando area, he's an amazing instructor.
Yeah, not
what the hell did I say? Orlando? Sarasota. So he's in Sarasota, amazing instructor. He can definitely help you.
Yeah.
But as we were there, I'm like filming Joe with his student, and I see this dude take his handgun from the firing line, point it right at us, and walk back to the back table at Shoot Straight, which, to be very honest, I think it is extremely stupid. What's the problem? Why are you kicking me?
I was
Don't kick
adjusting
me.
my legs.
No, you're kicking me, trying to tell me not to say stuff. So I think it is very stupid that gun ranges put a table in the back, because every time there's a table, I get that people want to put their stuff there, but people naturally just bring their gun to the back. I think if I owned a gun range, I would never put a table in the back.
Makes sense.
Put your stuff on the floor, so that way psychologically it makes people realize I can't have my gun back here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I agree with that.
So I go over to the man and I'm like, hey, sir, I said, and I'm an authoritative person.
You are a very authoritative person. I think they all seen that when you thought that I kicked you under the table, Ryan.
Okay. No, you kicked me. I know what you're doing. So
I was trying to play a little footsie.
That's not what it was. Okay. So I went over there, I put my hand on his shoulder, and I said, sir, put your gun in the bag. And he goes, excuse me? And I said, put your gun in the bag. And he goes, okay. So he put the gun inside the bag.
That would be a little bit.
I don't give a shit.
I know, I'm just saying.
So, and then he put the gun in the bag, and I said, sir, bring the gun up to the firing line. So he brought it up to the firing line, and I said, now you can take your firearm out of the bag. I said, the firing line is the only place that you are allowed to handle the firearm, period.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, but the gun wasn't loaded. And I said, yeah, but none of that matters, right? Because nobody that shoots themselves ever thinks the gun is loaded.
I was going to say, everybody that has a firearms negligent discharge says the gun was not loaded.
Correct. And if you don't even understand that basic gun range etiquette principle of keeping the gun pointed in a safe direction, what makes you think you understand how to properly safety check that gun? I would highly doubt you even understand or possess the skills to do that if you don't possess the skills to keep your finger off the trigger.
Yeah.
Or keep the gun pointed in a safe direction. Would you agree?
I do agree with you. Yeah. So it's terrifying. And you know what? I have to say, every single time that you leave to go to the range, I pray.
Yeah, let me tell you.
Because I do get worried. And the worst thing that you can do is to call me from the range.
Yeah.
Because...
Hold on, let me get back to my point here.
Okay.
Just because you know something does not mean you have achieved mastery in the thing. Okay? Mm-hmm. So you need to... I don't think Jeff Cooper has 4 gun safety rules, but maybe. Just because you know something does not mean you have achieved mastery on the thing. Mm-hmm. Another thing Myron talks about a lot, which I really love and have implemented, is the 4 levels of learning. So do you know the 4 levels?
Go ahead and share.
The first level of learning is called unconscious incompetence. So that means somebody is so unaware, they lack so much knowledge of a topic that they don't even understand how little they know, okay? And that's, frankly, most people, when they're buying their first gun, they are, actually, I'm going to say all people, buying your first gun, you are unconsciously incompetent. Yeah. You don't even recognize how little you understand about this topic.
Yeah, because you don't know until you start getting into it.
You just don't know.
Yes, yeah.
Then you come to the gun range with me the first time, and you're going to move into the second level of awareness, which is conscious incompetence. You're going to start learning about the proper grip, stance, sight alignment, sight picture. You're going to learn about proper breath control. And then you're going to start to realize, holy crap, there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know, I did not know.
Right.
So that's unconscious incompetence. The third level is called conscious competence. And that's when people have been like Alder. So Alder's been to the shooting class with me now like 6 or 7 times, right? So Alder is consciously aware of exactly what to do to be safe with a gun, right?
Yeah.
And that's like where we all strive to kind of get to in a very short period of time.
Yes.
Consciously being able to demonstrate the shooting fundamentals.
Yes.
But the final level of learning is called mastery or effortlessness. And that's when you can demonstrate a certain set of skills without the use of conscious resources. And that's the goal. If you actually want to own a gun for self-defense, you have to be able to demonstrate how to get that gun out of the holster, how to orient it in a safe direction, how to get shots off at the target, and you have accurately, and you have to be able to do that effortlessly without thinking, subconscious.
Like driving becomes, or like that nurse that came and shot with you, you know, she was very, very scared. And then you said, well, how are you, you know, you said you're a nurse. How were you the first time you did an IV, right? She's like, oh, scared, shaking, you know, doing that. And she's an ER nurse. So he's saying like, you know, the first time you had to do this or that, you're scared, but now you've done it 1,000 times. And now you just do it. You just do it. You don't think about it. You're on autopilot, right? Yeah. And that's where you want to get to, where you just do it. You just never put your finger on the trigger. It is just something that doesn't happen unless you're, you know, ready to shoot. So you get to that part where it becomes so natural that, you know, even though you still have to pay attention, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
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 So,
scary.
I forget who it was on here, but they said they were cleaning. Elisa said her cousin or something like that was cleaning his gun and shot himself in the stomach.
Yeah, we had that paramedic in the class recently, and she said that, I don't remember her name, nice young lady, paramedic in St. Pete, and she said they went on a call recently where the wife went to sleep with the kids, and the husband was watching TV and he was cleaning the gun. And then all of a sudden, the wife heard a bang, she comes out, and this guy shot himself, like right in the chin with a 45, and the bullet came out over here. But I mean, you're dead, right? At 45 point blank, you're not walking away from that. And I said, like, was this suicide, do you think? She said, I don't think so, because he had all his cleaning stuff there. He had, like, chips, and, like, he was watching TV and hanging out for the night. I just think he got just like Casey said, way too comfortable with the gun and starting to think, you know, maybe gun safety rules apply to you, Joe Blow, the new gun guy, but it doesn't apply to me because I know what I'm doing.
Well, I see it all the time that people say those are big boy rules. Or this is big boy rules. You're allowed to put your finger on the trigger. You're allowed to point this. It was in this video of the guy pointing the gun, looking at it like this, and they're like, "Oh, it's big boy rules." You can tell that he checked the firearm, and I'm like,
"No, that's called being a moron and justifying because you do stupid stuff. Now you're trying to justify why it's okay to be an idiot with a gun." That's what that is. It's not a big boy rule.
Yeah.
That's you are an idiot and you're trying to justify why it's okay to be an idiot.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation for that.
So, before we close out this story, do you think that the parents should be charged?
100%. Yeah. I think the only way that society can get better is if people are held responsible for their actions, which is why we should not pay off student loans. Okay? If you took out a student loan, then you have to be responsible to pay that student loan. If your child does something stupid and somebody gets hurt from that, whether it's themselves or somebody else, you have to be responsible for those actions. That's like, I just saw it pop up. I haven't watched it yet, but a Navy SEAL gave a speech or a talk or whatever about how this woke culture or whatever is making people feel like they, you know, the victimhood mentality and I am not responsible for the things that happen to you. No, you want to know the truth, the reality of life? Everything that happens in your life is because of your action or your inaction. Let me say that again. Everything that has happened in your life is because of your action, because of something you did, or because of your inaction, which is something you failed to do. Stop blaming it on everybody else. It is your fault.
I was going to say, like me, not exercising.
Exactly.
It's totally my fault. I make excuses every single day. I make an excuse, but I'm like, it's my fault.
Yeah.
I got to throw those excuses out.
And what's interesting is when you shift your mindset to, okay, I don't have enough leads in my business. It's your fault. How do we fix it? Boom. And then you start figuring out all the ways you can fix it. Oh my God, my marriage sucks. You know what's interesting? I won't say the person's name, but we have a friend who every time we talk to him, they're like, always, he did this and she did this and blah, 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 back and forth. And I'm like, listen, bro, what did you do? And he's like, well, that doesn't matter. Actually, it does. What did you do? What part of this argument is your fault? Focus on that first.
And fix it.
Because if you focus on what you're doing wrong, then she's going to start focusing on what she's doing wrong. And guess what? Magically, you guys are going to have a better relationship. But you guys keep pointing the finger at other people, and you actually never get better. So successful people never act like that, right? It is always introspective first. What can I do to serve my customer? And that's going to have the better result. What can I do to grow and get better? And that's how you're going to get better, not by pointing the finger.
I do for my husband.
But it is, right?
I do. Yeah.
100%.
I know. I agree. All right, next story.
Okay, so this is a question from Danny.
I thought you were going to not talk so that you didn't lose your voice, but you're talking away here.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so Danny says, I deliver for DoorDash, and I usually carry while doing so. If I were to knock on someone's door and they answered the door with a gun pointed at me, seems like a crazy story, then I pull out mine in return. The questions that he took from your book that he has is, one, how could I avoid the situation by not delivering? So that's not avoidable. Does this fall under justified use of force? Yes, I think fear of imminent death is reasonable. Is the use of deadly force necessary? I believe so. Am I in a place where I have the right to be? Someone else's front porch could be considered trespassing, or since I'm delivering food,
Hold on.
do I have a right to be there? Let me just finish. Am I engaged in a criminal activity? No.
Okay. So number one, Danny, if somebody is already pointing a gun at you, you have already lost.
Yeah.
Okay? So you will never have enough time to get your firearm out, because you have to think, Danny, this is the analogy that I like to use. If somebody's pointing a gun at you, how many things does that person have to do to pull the trigger and kill you? The answer is only one. All they got to do is pull the trigger and you're dead. But how many things do you have to do to get your gun out of the holster and get it onto the threat? So let's just count them real quick. So number one, you have to identify the threat. You have to make the decision that you're actually going to use deadly force. So that's two things now. Then you have to grab your garment and remove it with your non-dominant hand. Then you have to get a master grip with your dominant hand. Then you have to orient the firearm out of the holster without pointing it at yourself. You have to push the firearm through the high compressed ready into the extended shooting position, or you have to shoot from retention. And then you got to pull the trigger. So we've just counted 7 things that you have to do, and the attacker only has to do one thing. So the point of that lesson, everybody, is everybody getting this? If somebody's already pointing a gun at you, you kind of already lost. You have to wait for a strategic time to be able to get your gun out. And maybe that's, during a robbery, throwing your wallet on the ground so the bad guy has to look at the wallet. Or tossing your keys behind the bad guy so they got to turn around to get the keys during a carjacking. But thinking that you're going to just pull the gun out and shoot the bad guy is very foolish. You're never going to do it. So number 2, could the situation have been avoided? Of course it could be avoided. Get a different job. But if you can't get a different job, then no, there's nothing you can really do.
Right. Yeah.
Does it fall under justified use of force? Yes, in my opinion. If somebody is pointing a gun at you, they do not have a reasonable, justified situation to point a gun at you in this situation. So you do not have a right, or you have a right to defend yourself according to the standard ground law, in my opinion. Is the use of deadly force necessary? Yes, it is immediately necessary. Am I in a place that I have a right to be? You were an invited guest because they purchased something on DoorDash, so that is not trespassing at all.
Right.
Even if it was trespassing, you don't have a right to use a gun.
Yeah, if you're a solicitor, let's say, going to knock on the door, you're not an invited guest, you're knocking on their door and bothering them, they are still not allowed to point a gun at you.
Correct. So in this situation, I would just say, F you, buddy, and I would walk away. And say, you're not getting your food.
I don't think I would say,
you're not
F
getting
you
anything.
If someone's, like, I'm a little bit mouthy, but if someone's got a gun pointing at my face and just be like, good day, Soul.
So what, you automatically talk like Tom Cigars?
Good day, Soul.
Oh, hello,
and then
sir.
I turn around and
I am bringing you your egg roll.
I get the heck out of there. Okay, so Life and Death likes to say, suppose Danny is at the wrong address and the homeowner didn't order anything.
Again, it doesn't matter.
Right, because
we are
it would be
allowed
like a
to make a
solicitor.
mistake.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to answer the door with a gun in your hand.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe you guys don't remember this story, but I'll tell it anyway.
The Ryan guy in Texas?
Nope.
No.
I was asked, I got a phone call one day, which this was back when I actually answered phone calls, or maybe it started as an email or whatever.
Yeah, no, it was a phone call.
But it was a criminal defense attorney who wanted me to be an expert witness on a court case. So I got on the phone with this dude and I was like, yeah, this sounds like an amazing thing.
Awesome.
Tell me the case and tell me what you're wanting me to do. And he said, all right, Ryan. So my client was inside of his house and it's like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. It's dark outside. And all of a sudden he hears a really loud bang on the front door. Bang, bang, bang. And my client was so afraid at who was on the other side of the door that he grabbed his AK-47. He had the AK at the low ready. And he opens up his door with the gun in his hand. Turns out, this is the FedEx driver who needs him to sign for a package. So he signs for the package, he puts the AK down, signs for the package, takes it, and then he goes about his day. 20 minutes later, he gets another loud bang on the front door, but this time, it's the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department. The FedEx driver left, dialed 911, and now the police are here to confront this guy.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm very sorry, sir. I'm confused. If I'm an expert witness for your client, who's the guy who illegally opened the door with the gun in his hand, I said, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do? And he said, I want you to get in front of the jury as a firearms expert, as somebody who's written all these books and done all this stuff. And I want you to tell the jury that it's very normal for a gun owner to open the door with the gun in his hand. And I laughed and I was like, actually, it's not normal, sir. Because if I stand in front of the jury, number one, my integrity is more important than your client. So I'm going to tell, and it's more important than the money that you're offering me right now. So I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to tell the jury that what your client did is not only illegal, but it's very stupid, it's brandishing, and your client deserves to go to jail. And I said, I would guarantee you that if you hired me to do this, I would be the reason that your client got arrested, went to jail and got convicted over this.
Needless to say, you did not get hired for that gig.
No, I told him I'm not interested. I said, this is stupid,
Obviously,
man.
he didn't, I don't think you had your Shoot, Don't Shoot book out yet, but obviously he didn't read that book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Ryan's all over the local news, but you'll see, like, if he was on there was, like, a rash of, like, 4 shootings, right? That were all like accidental, and the lady was like,
in like a 2-week period,
accidental shootings, and Ryan's like, they're not accidental. There's nothing accidental about them. Those are all negligent discharges from somebody who was being a negligent gun owner.
It was like, all negligence.
Oh.
I said, you guys keep calling these accidents. These are not accidents. These are dumb people with guns that do not know what they're doing with the gun, who are shooting their husband, shooting their kid, shooting themselves because they lack basic understanding of firearms.
So this is a good segue into
Okay, so Casey says, why would you brandish unnecessarily? But here's like the difference that a lot of people don't understand. If you're pulling out a firearm in a justified self-defense situation, that is not brandishing.
Right.
That's legally displaying a firearm in self-defense. Brandishing, or the technical term is called improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon or firearm, is displaying any dirk, sword, firearm, sword cane, all, and the list goes on, in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening manner, not necessary self-defense. That is brandishing. So displaying a firearm in a rude, careless, angry, or threatening manner that is not necessary for self-defense. So what is necessary for self-defense? Very simple, right? So it goes to the 5 things that have to happen before you have a legal right to use a firearm in self-defense. So number 1, you have to have a reasonable belief. So what does reasonable belief mean, Tef?
You have to have a reasonable belief, fear for your life, imminent death.
Okay, not only do you have to believe your only option to stay alive is to pull out a gun and shoot, but the jury has to agree with you.
Yes.
So that's number 1. So number 2 actually has 3 questions inside of it, okay? So that confuses people sometimes. So question number 1, do you have a reasonable belief of imminent death? Question 2, do you have a reasonable belief of great bodily harm? Question 3, do you have a reasonable belief of a forcible felony? Okay, which is the 16, violent crimes. So question number 3, is the use of deadly force immediately necessary? Which means, a woman was very confused about this on Thursday, I think. She's like, the term imminent means a lot of different things. And I said, no, it doesn't. The term imminent means
seconds.
Likely to occur within seconds. That's the only thing that it means, right? Question number 4, are you in a place that you have a right to be? So if you're inside your house, inside your car, whatever, you have a right to be there, right? And the final question, are you committing a crime?
Right.
So if you're like smuggling cocaine and somebody tries to rob you, that's a forcible felony and you don't have a right to defend yourself because you're a drug dealer, right?
Which we actually had that situation come up the other day where the guy said, like, am I allowed to shoot? But he was doing something illegal. So it's like, well, technically that would fall under justified use of force, but it negates it because you are in a illegal transaction, right? So now that doesn't work anymore. So let's just say you are doing a drug deal, right? And the other guy pulls out his gun. Now you can justifiably shoot that person, but because you are in an illegal activity, now that is no longer going to hold up.
Right.
So, don't be doing illegal stuff.
Okay, this is a gas station robbery that just happened. Okay, Renee, I have your question, so I'm going to answer your question shortly, okay? This is a robbery that happened at a gas station recently, so let's check this out. Okay, so my question to everybody watching, if you were the store clerk and that guy charges in with a gun like that, do you have a legal right to pull out your gun and shoot that threat? You say the answer is yes? What do you guys think in the comments?
I mean, you don't come running into a store with a gun unless your plan is to hurt me.
Do something bad.
Yeah, to do something bad. I mean, that's just not a normal thing. You're not walking in with a freaking umbrella.
Okay, all right.
So
what if you're in the parking lot? What if you're filling up gas?
And you see it?
And you see that guy jump out of his car. He's got the gun in his hand and he goes charging inside the store.
Same thing.
You still have a right to just engage a dude.
I think so, because now the imminent threat, that there's a cashier,
a worker in there.
So now the imminent threat is not against you, but it's against someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me in the comments, do you have a right if you now see this guy come in and he's got that weapon? Do you have a right to jump out and go charge in the store and maybe engage this guy?
Now, no doubt the question would be like, what am I going to do? Am I going to do something, or am I just going to call cops? I mean, that's another question. But I think legally, you're allowed to do that because you're witnessing a crime and a...
Well, it's because the Florida Stand Your Ground law gives us a right to use or threaten the use of deadly force to defend ourselves or someone around us.
Yes.
That's the important part, is we have a right to defend the people that are around us, whether I know that person or not, right?
Exactly, yeah. And that's why I said, like, whether or not you do something is up to you, because some people are going to say, no, I'm just going to call the cops. Some people are saying, I'm jumping in my car, I'm getting the hell out of there. And some people are saying, like, no, I have to go in because I can't consciously live with knowing, that, somebody got hurt or killed or whatever, and I saw it, and I had the ability to stop it, and I didn't. Yeah. Right? Because I know, like, 100% for me, that's something I'm going to think about. I'm probably going to jump in my car, move out of the way, call 911, let them know what's happening, try to get, like, some info. But I think I know 100% for you, you're going in.
Oh, I'm going in. And Lincoln, I'm like, record this shit, Brady.
I know that you are not going to let something happen to someone else, even though, like right away, what's going through my mind is, oh my gosh, I'm a mommy and I've got kids and they're, I can't. But you, it's just like subconscious. You're going in. You're running towards the fire. I already know that about you, and I would never even try to stop you.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, that's good.
I used to think I would stop you, but now I just know that that's the way God made you, and I have to let you be that way. I have to let you be the way God made you. Yeah. So.
And I don't know if I would run in right away, but I would definitely be strategically placed.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. I get that.
Okay, so Tyler says, what are some affordable gun ranges? Most gun ranges are all the same price. Yeah. $10 to $20 an hour, which is very affordable, very easy. Yeah. All right.
Ryan, question. If I'm in my car and an armed gunman comes to the window with a gun and demands me to get out of the car, and I put my hands up, I look like I'm complying, and as I open the door, I take my gun with me, and I step back, allow him to get into the car, and am I allowed to shoot him at that point, since I'm out of the car? Interested in finding out the answer. Sarasota, Florida.
I'll say it.
Go.
So,
we don't remember what that guy's question was.
We might have been a little screwed up there. Oh, wait, was it playing? Tom, did it play the audio? If it didn't, then... Okay, did you guys hear the audio? That's the question. Otherwise, I'll tell you. Maybe you misunderstood him. Okay, no, it didn't. It didn't play the audio. So I can...
Okay, hold on. Here it is. So we're just going to do a ghetto blaster style.
Ryan, question. If I'm in my car and an armed gunman comes to the window with a gun and demands me to get out of the car, and I put my hands up, I look like I'm complying, and as I open the door, I take my gun with me, and I step back, allow him to get into the car, and am I allowed to shoot him at that point?
Okay, here's my favorite part.
Interested in finding out the answer. Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, so you guys heard it. Now you heard it twice. Makes it even better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's saying, like, I'm pretending, right? I'm pretending I'm complying. I got my hands up. I get out. I let you get, because he knows you don't draw on a drawn gun. So he's like, I get out. I let you get into my car. But now I'm going to pull, like, some fast John Wick stuff, and I'm going to, like, not be compliant and pull out my gun. Am I allowed to shoot you now that you're sitting in my car being distracted? What's the answer, Rye?
I think it would depend on public opinion, to be honest. But I don't think, in my opinion, it's the right thing to do. I think the dude's already taken the car. The crime is already over.
He's probably not going to shoot you, because if he was going to shoot you, he probably would have shot you and yanked you out.
Yeah, I think the part, like, it goes to question 3, which is the use of deadly force immediately necessary? Now, again, this is all just my opinion. But is it immediately necessary? Probably not, because the bad guy is already in the car, the gun's not pointed at you anymore, and now they're driving away. And now you're just using your gun to defend personal property, which you're not allowed to do in Florida, right?
Yeah.
So,
which is funny, because if you were to pull out your gun and shoot them before you got out of the vehicle while they did have the gun pointed at you, you'd be totally fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're allowed to use a gun during a carjacking to stop a carjacking, but is it immediately necessary? I don't really know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Now, obviously, if my kids are still in the car, like, I'm going to smoke that dude, right?
That changes everything.
Yeah.
But I think, like, in that situation for me, that's one of those, like, how could this be avoided? I think that it could be avoided, like, not avoided the first thing that happened, but after. I think just, like, running behind the car, like, getting out of there.
Most of the students that I've had that have been carjacked or had attempted carjackings, they all have a couple really big things in common. And I want to see, before I share with you guys, what do you think, like, the 3 big things are that every one of my students, or most of my students who have been involved in a carjacking, have all had in common? What do you think the big 3 things are? Put it in the comments.
You say that, but that takes people a while to comment.
I don't care.
They're watching on their screen. They're like, how
Fix
am I
it.
going to
Nobody cares. Figure
type with my remote? That would be my dad. Trying to do his remote.
So tell me, what are the big things? Okay, unlock doors. That's a good one, RV Dog. What else? What is it people have in common that get carjacked?
Windows down.
Late at night.
Windows down.
No situational awareness. Froze. Some gibberish that Brian is obviously stoned.
No, he's trying to type with his remote. And he probably has had a glass of wine or two because he's
Cars are stopped. No locked door. You know, pretty much every one of my students who has been carjacked has been parked in a parking lot.
On their phone.
At night. They're on their phone.
Doors unlocked.
And usually it's either the door's unlocked or the window is rolled down.
I never sit anywhere. Like, I'm paranoid. So, like, as soon as I don't know if it's paranoid or what it is, but
awareness.
I'm like, lock the doors as soon as you get in that vehicle. And I used to be like, click, 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 as I'm walking to my car, right, to unlock it. Now I'm like, why would I do that? That's so stupid. You're unlocking it for someone to, like, get to it. They know which car you're going to. The lights are flashing. I'm like, just get to the thing, look around, lock the door.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that just is smart. So anyway, that's what I do now. But I never, ever, I will sit in my vehicle. I will be on my phone. But you damn sure that the window is definitely not going to be down and the door is going to be
But
locked.
even sitting in your car on your phone, right? Like, we've had a rash of students get robbed just like this because they're there.
And
the bad guy can see the glow of the phone, and that also means you're not aware. You don't see the bad guy approaching.
And then they point the gun right through the window.
Exactly, and then you're freaking stuck, right? Then you, like, got to do something.
And you're like, oh, what am I going to do? Yeah, you're kind of stuck.
So the bottom line is, nothing that you're doing is that important that you need to do it in the middle of the night in a random ass parking lot.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't know, like, if I still do it. I'm just saying, like, if I'm, let's say, going to pick up Paisley at Youth and I'm waiting, it's dark, I'm waiting for her to, like, you know,
it's also
come
based
out.
on your environment. There's a very big difference between doing stuff like this in Valrico versus doing this kind of stuff in Tampa off of Florida.
East Tampa, yeah.
Your ass is getting robbed, raped on East Tampa
Yeah.
at night. Like, it's very dangerous. I can't tell you how many violent situations I've been involved in there because it's just freaking dangerous.
We got to get on with the next question because it's already 8. Can you believe it?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So let's get to Renee's question. Oh, what's happening here? Okay, the guy that shot his son. We'll skip that.
Well, we don't have to show it if we.
Okay, whatever.
Okay.
So Renee's question was, what do I think about the
Enigma?
What is it called? Enigma holster for women wearing a dress or a skirt or something like that. So the Enigma holster is very interesting. I actually kind of want to buy one because I go jogging and go for a walk in the morning, and I need a way to, like, keep the gun secured as I'm running, and it's not going to, like, I feel like I get worried that it's going to bounce out or something because it's not retained enough. So that's always, like, my fear.
And what do you not like about, like, the crossbreed belly band that you have? Like, is it just too much?
It just moves too much. Like, I'm so used to wearing my normal setup where if I was wearing jeans and my belt and my tier 1 holster, I can run like that and the gun is not going to move.
Right.
And I'd feel very comfortable running and it not moving.
But you can't run in jeans.
I could,
No,
but it would just be weird.
Yeah, you're going to be that guy. Hey, you see that guy? He runs in his jeans.
What if I make jorts?
What the hell's a jort? No, you are not
jean
freaking.
shorts.
You are not Joe. What's his name? What's the guy?
Joe Yeager?
No, the guy in jail, the Tiger guy. Tiger
Oh,
King.
yeah, Tiger King. Yeah, dude's
Tiger
awesome.
King in his freaking jorts.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
So I think the Enigma, again, I haven't tested it because I don't have one.
I will say this, Renee, I think you're in the women's concealed carry group, and there's a lot of women in there that swear by it and say, like, it's a game changer. I say, I've been waiting to kind of buy it too, but I don't know, I've just been cheap. But I say, go ahead and buy it because most of those places now have free returns. So go ahead and buy it. Try it for a couple days, see how it works. And, you know, if you really hate it or don't like it, you can return it. But I would definitely ask in the group because, you know, Ryan doesn't wear dresses very often. So he doesn't really know. But there's lots of women in the group that say it's a complete game changer. So I would definitely kind of ask them some questions about it. And I think that'll really help. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Hey, wait. I want you to show that one story before we go because it's so crazy of the guy in the gas station. Yeah, no, not this one. We can skip this one.
I don't think I put that one up.
Are you kidding?
No. We'll do that one next week.
Okay, we'll do it next week for you guys. You're going to have to wait. All right, I guess that's it.
That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate you.
We'll see you next
Have a great
Monday,
night.
7 p.m.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.